Hello guys, I am Devindu and in this video we will discuss about the programming languages that you should know before your placements and we'll see advantages and disadvantages for different types of languages, and I also provide all the resources where I learned these languages so you will not face any types of problem. So without wasting any time, let's start. So if you are currently a student of BTech, BCA, MCA or any other stream, you must looking for the programming languages that you should learn before your placement. And currently there are so many popular programming languages available in the market like C, C++, Java, Python, C Sharp, JavaScript, Go, Ruby, R programming, and lots of other types of programming languages also. I remember when I was in first year or second year, I was so confused that which programming language should I choose. Somebody says Python is the best, somebody says C++ is the best for coding, someone says JavaScript the best for the jobs. I was so confused at that time. But now I cracked multiple IT companies coding round by these three programming languages. So let's talk about the first language. The first language is C. You may know more than 90% pupils' first programming language is C, including me also, and it itself capable for clearing any types of coding questions. And the execution speed is very fast that you may not get any types of time limit exceeded error in your code. And in every company they allowed you to code in C. If there are just 2 or 3 months remaining for your placement start, I will suggest you to not go for learning multiple languages at once. Just learn C from the basics to the advanced level with the data structure and algorithm and practice it as many time as you can. If you just do these things, then the coding round will become so much easy for you that you can clear any types of companies coding round. The next programming language is Python. From my perspective, the easiest programming language to learn for any beginners is Python. If you need to find the maximum element in an array or reverse a string, you need to write few lines of code in C. But if you are using Python, it will become just one line of code. Python is so much powerful. Now, Python is the most popular language for machine learning and artificial intelligence. Even you can build an entire web server with Python. The packages of Python make it more stronger than any other programming languages. But this is the heavy technical coding and this is not required for clearing your coding round. You just need to learn the basic of Python and with the proper data structure and algorithm. Actually, what happens in the coding round that in the coding round there are two or three coding questions and the total number of question may vary to company, and in all of the question it provide a problem statement, and the problem statement is not just like write a code to find the sum of array or write a code to reverse a string. It will provide some kind of story like question, like in our case they are written one problem statement that there is a server which allocate memory and deallocate the memory, and for every request number is just when you request something from the server it has some request number. So for every request number which has total sum of their digit as 10, so if suppose our digit of request number is 1360, then the sum of the digit like in our case 3 4 and 16, so this is actually the sum of the digit. So here written every request number which has total sum of digit as 10, the server will allocate 1 MB of memory. So this will allocate 1 MB of memory because its total sum is 10. And if the request number has total sum of their digit more than 10, the server will deallocate 1 MB of memory. So let's see if any number has, okay, so 9, 10, 11, 12. So this request number has more than 10 of their digit of sum. So this request ID or this request number will deallocate 1 MB of memory. In a period of time, there are 5 requests came in the server and their request number are like this, and this type of a array that is provided, and there are 5 number or 5 request number. So 136022541, and this is like other, and the server provide how much memory is totally allocated. Like in this case it will print 1 MB because 6 4, okay, this is 1, so it allocate 1 MB of memory. 5 4, okay, this also will allocate 1 MB of memory, so total 2 MB memory is allocated all, and this is more than 10, so 1 MB memory is deallocated. This is also more than 10, so this will also deallocate, and 5 9, okay, so this is 10, so this will also allocate one memory. So one allocation, two allocation, and this is three allocation and two deallocation, so total 1 MB of allocation is there. So after that total allocation is printed by the server and this is 1 MB. So this is the actual problem statement. Reading the problem statement, you need to just realize what the code is actually wanted to tell us. That how you can do this type of output from this type of input. There's also written sample input and sample output, and this is exactly the same thing. Whenever you code anything in your test environment or your exam environment, the compiler will test your code with the sample input, and if the sample output and your own output coding output is matched, then your test case will be passed. There are also some hidden test cases just like test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4, test 5, and you can't see the sample input for this type of test cases. You need to just realize that what type of number can get as the input and what type of output that it can print. So suppose somehow if the deallocation is greater than allocation, then it might return as -1 MB because it deallocates 1 MB more. So it may be written as -1 or any other output. So in our course, nothing output or constraint is there. So we can just write -1 if there is more deallocation than allocation. So all of the constraint, and I will talk about more of the constraint in any other video. So if you don't want to miss that video, then subscribe now. So let's talk about the other things about this code. So you need to pass the test cases for getting the marks for your code. If you can't match the test cases required output by your own output, then you will not get any type of number in your code. So always take care of the test cases, that what is the structure can be done. So if suppose if I just writing 0 without any 4-digit number, or if I just write 3-digit number, then how can I provide the output? This thing you may take care of by yourself, and sometimes the code or the problem statement will tell you how you can handle this type of coding. So back to our topic, you can understand that Python has lots of inbuilt function for almost any operation in the code, and it will decrease the time required for writing the code. So you can write the code faster and just focusing on your logic. But if you are writing your code in C, then you may need to write few lines of code extra to get the output. But as there is no many inbuilt function, it might be sometimes difficult in C. But there is a problem for writing the code in Python, and it is that Python takes more time for executing than C. So suppose if any code in C takes 1 second to execute, the similar type of code will execute in 1.2 second. It seems that 0.2 second is not a huge time, but for in every test cases there is a time limit. So sometimes if your code has nested for loop, it may exceed the time limit for Python. But in any other cases, Python is the best language to code. So always take care of that. If your code has nested for loop, then you may not likely to write this code in Python, and you may also like this type of code in C. But in any other case, or in any other array operation, in a string operation, in any other type of operation where you don't need nested for loop or nested any loop, then just go for the Python. It will be best. After Python, let's talk about the next language. But if you have only like 6 months before your placement start, I will suggest you to learn C and Python both. But if you have more than 6 months, then definitely learn the next language, that is Java. Java is a programming giant. If you are learning Java, then your object-oriented concept will be cleared, and it will be very beneficial for your interviews also. Java is still used in the big IT companies, so learning Java will be totally worth it. The execution time is also very fast, and so if your programming logic is clear, then don't need to worry about the execution time. So all three languages are C, Python and Java. If your placement is near and just left 2 or 3 months, then just only learn C, and if there's minimum 6 months left, then go for C and Python both. But if you have more than 6 months, then learn all of these three languages and choose which languages you like the most. I personally like to code in Python, but I always switch to C or C++ if there are any problem statement require some nested loop. From the language drop down, you can also select the languages that you wanted to write. So suppose you wanted to write in Python, then you can choose the language from the drop down from your exam system, and also you can change the language anytime. I need to add one point that if you are willing to learn all these three languages, then it's obviously beneficial for you. But learning one language and practice 100 different coding questions is better than learning three languages and practice only 10 questions. So always try to practice more and more from the different coding platforms like HackerRank, CodeShape, or any other platform. So if you are willing to practice more, then go for the resources where you can learn these languages. So for C, you can follow this video with of Code with Harry, and I personally like this video, and this is the URL. And also there are so many resources of Geeks for Geeks or Tutorials Point or Java T Point. By the way, I will provide all of this link in the description. You can check this out. So this is all the resources for the C, and also for the Python. I also prefer the Code with Harry's this video, and also there's the URL, and this is the other sites you can visit. And visit the W3 school for Python. It will be very beneficial for you if you just go through and see the code and also run other type of code in W3 school. So for Java, I also provide Java code with Harry's playlist of Java. You can say I am a fan of code with Harry, and I'll also learn Java from this playlist also. And there's also another other types of thing like Java T Point, W3 school, and tutorials point. So you can learn these programming languages from these URLs. I will provide it in the description. So there's one note. Learning any languages will not help you if you not learn data structures and algorithm. The data structure and algorithm are the key point for clearing any type of coding round or coding interviews. So always be strong at your data structure and algorithms. And I will make a video in data structure and algorithm and where to learn this thing in the next video or in any other time. So if you are not wanted to miss that video, then subscribe to my channel now. And also if you like this video, then like now and also comment out how you like this video. So see you in the next video. Bye bye.